Career criminal Curtis Warren sentenced for breaching court order. Now that's what I'm talking about in this video, because this is what's popped up when I checked up on my news now up today. Now Curtis Warren has today, Tuesday the 27th of August, been sentenced to 14 months suspended for 18 months. So he's been given a 40 months prison sentence, but it's been suspended for 18 months, meaning that he will serve that sentence out here in the community. But if he gets into any more trouble within them 18 months, because it's been suspended for 18 months, if he gets into any sort of trouble or breaks any of his orders within 18 months, that 40 months jail term will be activated. Now, it says notorious Merseyside drug trafficker Curtis Warren has been given a suspended prison sentence after admitting breaches of his serious crime prevention order. Now, Curtis, when he was released from prison, was put on loads of different restrictions, and it says in the article that he's breached quite a few of his restrictions. But when you hear about some of the restrictions that they've put on him, a lot of them are quite ludicrous if you ask me. Because, Warren is now aged 61 and he was infamous and notorious back in the day. He was probably one of the UK's most well-known criminals or drug trafficker, because he's got a book out. He was actually in the Sunday Times rich list when they put him at a net worth of 40 million. And when he was released, he had conditions put on him, like he was only allowed a few £100 on him or in his possession at any one time, meaning in his pocket or either in his house. So I'm not sure exactly the amount. It would say around about £300, and he's been caught with £500, or when he's being searched, he's had £500 in his possession. So that is an immediate breach straight away, which a breach like that, as petty as a lot of people might think it sounds, but something like that can put you back in prison. If he's only allowed £300 and he's being caught with £500 in his possession, the court system will put him straight back in prison to serve the remainder of his licence. But a lot of the other conditions, or some of them, is he's not allowed to travel in any other car without giving prior permission. So say he's give his details of his friend's car who he might go out for regular meals with during the day or go to the gym, and his friend turns up in a different car that he's just bought, but Curtis hasn't informed the police or probation about the new car. For him, getting inside that car and travelling to go for some food or go to the gym, again, that is an immediate breach. Now, those of you that don't know, I will give a little brief background into Curtis Warren before I talk a little bit more about this story. So Curtis Francis Warren, also known as Cocky, was born on the 31st of May 1963. And it says he's an English gangster, but it's what I would class as an ex-gangster. Because a lot of people like Curtis who've been in and out of the system all their lives, and they've had the tag name as a gangster, a drug trafficker, or someone who imports drugs, which he was a major player back in the day. They will be still tarnished with that brush till the day he dies. He will be called a gangster and a drug trafficker. Even though he's been in prison, he's done a substantial amount of prison. Come out, might want a quiet life, but that's not how it works. And it's definitely not how it works in the eyes of the law. And it says he was the drugs trafficker who was formerly Interpol's Target 1 and was once listed on the Sunday Times rich list. But it just goes on, says a little bit about his background. But Curtis Warren was arrested, and this is one of the reasons why he became so well known or infamous, because one of the hauls that he was charged with and arrested for was estimated to be worth around about £125 million. So this was on the 24th of October 1996. This was in Holland, by the way. Brigade Special raided Warren's villa and other properties he owned in the Netherlands. Warren and several associates were arrested, with police finding 3 guns, ammunition, hand grenades, crates with 960 CS gas canisters, 400 kilograms of cocaine, 1,500 kilograms of cannabis resin, 60 kilograms of heroin, 50 kilograms or 110 pounds of ecstasy, and 400,000 Dutch guilder plus 600,000 US dollars in cash. And that whole haul was estimated to be at £125 million. In 1998, Warren made his only appearance in the Sunday Times Rich List, which stated, as a property developer, his fortune was estimated at $40 million. His conviction in the subsequent trial ensured his removal from the list. In court, Warren's plan was shown to be the shipment of the South American cocaine to Bulgaria, shipped to his vineyard. The drugs were then suspended in wine for onward shipment to the Netherlands and Liverpool in the UK. In total, police had retained illegal goods, drugs and wine valued at $125 million. Warren was sentenced to 12 years in jail in the maximum security, can't even pronounce that, so I'll not say it. It was a maximum security prison in Voot. However, further forensic accounting investigation only found £20 million of his estimated $120 million fortune, and none of that could be legally touched or confiscated by Dutch police, British police or Interpol. But even whilst Warren was in prison over in the Netherlands, he was actually charged with manslaughter, but I'll go into that now. So in February 2005, Curtis was charged by Dutch authorities with running an international drug smuggling cartel from his Dutch prison cell. He was moved around 6 jails during his trial for his own safety. He was found guilty, but successfully appealed and was released from prison in June 2007. Refused a passport by the British, Irish and Portuguese governments, the UK's Serious Organised Crime Agency then followed Warren's every move as part of a lifetime offender management programme under the codename Operation Floss. In November 2007, Warren's right-hand man Colin Smith was shot dead while leaving Nell's Gym in Speke. Right, so here's the manslaughter conviction. So this was just after his arrest for all of that massive haul. So on the afternoon, on the 15th of September 1999, Warren had a fight in the prison yard with Turkish national Cemal Gugli, who was serving a 20-year sentence for murder and attempted murder. Yelling abuse at Warren, Gugli walked towards him and tried to punch him in the face. Evading the punch, a short fight ensued, during which Gugli fell to the ground and Warren kicked him in the head 4 times. Gugli got up and again went for Warren and was again punched to the ground. It was here he hit his head and became unconscious, from which Gugli never recovered and died in hospital. In his trial defence in 2001, Warren said he acted in self-defence. Finding Warren guilty of manslaughter, the Dutch judge commented that the defendant had used excessive violence, sentencing him to an additional 4 years with release scheduled in 2014. In 2002, Dutch police, still investigating the Bulgarian shipment, obtained an asset seizure against Warren. Although they could only find 180,000, they legally charged him to repay 26 million guilders, which is $14 million under the Proceeds of Crime Act, or face an added 5 years in prison. This would have extended his release date to 2019. After legal discussion ensued, Warren agreed to pay Dutch police 15 million guilders, which is $8 million. So that was what was leading up to everything with Warren. But then again, he had another conviction, which was what he had his restrictions for when he was released from prison. So on his last one, this was when he was living in Jersey. And under SOCA's, this is a serious organised crime agency, Operation Floss, just 3 weeks after being freed from prison in the Netherlands, on Saturday the 30th of June 2007, SOCA called Jersey police to inform them that Warren had arrived at Manchester Airport and paid cash for a plane ticket. Observed in Jersey with known Liverpool associates and now Jersey resident Taffin Carter, the pair drove around in Carter's VW Golf to various locations, including the isolated St. Catherine's Breakwater. With drugs at 3 times the street price in Jersey compared to the UK or France, after Warren returned to the UK, Jersey police created Operation Koala, monitoring and bugging various locations, including phone boxes and the home of Taffin's girlfriend, Suzanne Skur. From this, they discovered that a friend of Warren, John Welsh, intended to travel to Amsterdam to meet with known Warren associate Moroccan Mohammed Liazid. Jersey police wanted to bug Welsh's hire car from St. Malo, but were refused permission by French and Belgian police, saying it was a breach of the European Convention on Human Rights, in what Judge Richard Tucker later described as a reprehensible and unlawful act. Jersey police, which is not signed into but bound by the ECHR, which is the European Court of Human Rights, bugged the car anyway, and with Dutch police, SOCA and Interpol monitored the transmissions. In subsequent operations, SOCA monitored Warren in Liverpool, while Dutch police monitored police informant Liazid in Amsterdam and coordinated information from various phone boxes to correlate who was speaking to whom. In the subsequent trial, it was revealed that Warren had 3 UK and 1 Jersey mobile and had made 1,587 telephone calls in 3 weeks from these and phone boxes across the North West and North Wales, including the Wirral, Liverpool, Manchester and Chester to Liazid. In 2007, Warren was arrested in St. Helens over conspiracy to smuggle drugs after a joint investigation involving Jersey police, Merseyside police, SOCA and law enforcement from Belgium, France and the Netherlands. He pleaded not guilty, and there ensued a 2-year legal argument over the legality of the information obtained by bugging of Welsh's car. After agreement that there was sufficient evidence from other sources to substantiate the case, Jersey police offered him a deal for pleading guilty of an 8-year jail term and no confiscation of assets. Warren turned this down. I bet you any money he wishes he took that deal. The Metropolitan Police agreed to lend Jersey police a manned armoured prisoner transfer van so Warren and his associates could be transferred safely during each day of the trial. The court heard that no drugs had been imported as the Jersey contacts had failed to come up with the money. Senator Ben Shenton raised concerns that Warren's legal representation was at the cost of the Jersey taxpayer, while Progress Jersey raised concerns that the entire resources of the Jersey drug squad had been targeted at Warren. Warren was found guilty on the 7th of October for conspiracy to smuggle cannabis. He was sentenced on the 3rd of December 2009 to 13 years imprisonment for his part in the plot. Jersey police are also starting an investigation into his wealth with the aim of confiscating his gains from drug trafficking. After initially serving his sentence in HMP Full Sutton near York, he was moved to HMP Belmarsh. On 2 occasions, he has unsuccessfully appealed to the Lieutenant Governor of Jersey General Sir John McCall for leave to appeal his conviction, once in March 2011 and secondly in September 2011. So not long after he was locked up in November 2013, Curtis was ordered to pay a £198 million confiscation order or face another 10 years in jail. On the 27th of March 2014, it was reported that Curtis had lost his appeal over his failure to pay the order and so would remain in prison. So normally, on a 13-year sentence, you would just serve half of the sentence. It used to be 2/3, but now it's like half. So you would have served half of that. But because of that confiscation order, and because he couldn't pay 198 million, which is an astronomical amount of money. I've never heard a confiscation order so high, 198 million. So obviously, he probably hasn't even got that amount of money. It might have come to that amount of money over the years, the cost of the drugs that he was importing and supplying, but that doesn't mean he's had that much profit. So obviously he's not going to be paying that back, or he probably didn't have the means to pay it. So he's had to serve all 13 years of his sentence. And again, normally, when you've served the full sentence, 13 years, you would get out without any license. But in Warren's case, they put like the serious organised crime prevention order on top of him, give him an extended license. And this is what he's been breached on because of all the different orders that has actually been put inside of this prevention order, which for anybody, it would probably, any normal law-abiding citizen, well, not law-abiding citizen, but anybody coming out with that many restrictions, it's only a matter of time before he was going to break one of them conditions, even if it was by accident or by delayed response from informing somebody of changes. But I've done a video on Curtis not so long back, well, I'm saying not so long back, it was probably a couple of years back now, or just over a year ago, talking about when he had a romance with a prison officer inside of HMP Franklin. So it was in 2020, Stephanie Smithwhite, a prison officer, was jailed for 2 years after having intimate relations with Curtis inside of Franklin prison. And it did say in the article, which I believe it was only put in there as, like the papers always do, they exaggerate the story so it sounds better or it looks better for the person that's reading it. It did actually say that this prison officer had a hole in her pants for easy access. For when Curtis was in his pad and she would come round into his cell and there was easy access for him, so she didn't have to undo her belt for him to have his wicked way with her inside the prison. So that is all on that story, people. I just thought I would bring that to your attention because obviously it is in a lot of the papers today, but I was actually doing a bit of research for a different video when this actually popped up. So I thought I would let you know that he was given a 14-month prison sentence, suspended for 18 months. But believe you me, the only reason this sentence has been suspended is because of the prison overcrowding. If it wasn't for the prisons being overcrowded, Curtis would be sitting in prison right now serving that 40-month sentence because the authorities and the ones in power do not want to see the likes of Curtis Warren back out on the streets, and they would have loved for him to be serving this sentence inside of prison. But as of today, there's actually only 100 spaces left in the prison system. The prison is absolute rampacked to maximum capacity. Them 100 spaces will be filled up within the next 2 weeks. So I daren't think about what is actually going on inside the prison system at the moment. But I'll leave that one there for now, people. If you are enjoying this type of content where I'm reading out about people's pasts, I have got a few more stories ready to deliver like this. But I was thinking about doing more visuals instead of just watching me talking. I can maybe put some visuals over the screen, but let us know in the comments if you are still watching at this point. But as usual, if you're enjoying the content, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care everyone and enjoy the rest of your week.